Day 3 in Joshua Tree with Jeven, Dovey and Levi Island, and with other amazing creators, Ben, Ryan, Brendan and Wes. So let's ask them, what are their favorite books? What is your favorite book?
So, most recent book that I read that I really loved, Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. That guy is a monster and you can learn so much from him.
What is it about?
So it's actually his autobiography. It's the story of his life. David Goggins is an elite ultra marathoner now, but 15 years ago, earlier in his life, he was over 300 pounds. He was struggling with depression. He woke up one morning, decided to become a Navy SEAL, and just got after it. The dude has overcome adversity to create a life that he wants for himself, and that's what the book's about.
That's great. Thank you. Hey Levi, so what is your favorite book?
A book that I've really appreciated for helping get clarity for me is a book called Essentialism, The Disciplined Pursuit of Less. That's one of my favorite books. It's about ignoring the trivial the many things that you can waste your time on and focusing in on the vital few things that are really important in life. That's from the decisions you make at work or the possessions you choose to own to what you choose to get rid of to basically it's a way to think of how to remove clutter from your life in all aspects. And I'm an aspiring essentialist, so I really like the book.
That's great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Ryan.
Yes.
What is your favorite book?
I think one book that was a lot of fun to read was Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh my goodness, I love this book.
That's a great book. Just if you just want to go along for a ride, it's really funny. It's very well written. It's a fun one to read for sure.
Nice. So Jeven, what is your favorite book?
So this is actually a book that I read when I was much younger, but it's Minus 148, and it's a book about mountaineering. It's the first winter ascent of Denali, and that story has just stuck with me because it was kind of like my first introduction into the real extreme side of mountaineering, and it just piqued my interest as an adventurer. And so, you know, it's one of those things I've always wanted to get into mountaineering. I've always wanted to climb mountains, and I've always been reading books. That was kind of my first book that sparked off that whole interest. And then in like the last 6 years, I actually started getting into mountaineering more and more. So that's why that's one of my favorite books.
How did you get into mountaineering?
So I actually just found a guide service and decided to jump on an expedition and learn mountaineering. So I did a 6-day expedition at Mount Rainier, which is the mountain that I grew up looking at because I grew up in Seattle area. And so I was just like, I'm gonna do this one day, and I went and did it. So, you know, it's just one of those things that's been in the back of my head, and finally I just took that step and went for it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Currently, my favorite one that I read recently was called Bread, Wine, and Coffee. It was by, I think her name, I'm gonna butcher her name, but it was Simran Seeth. And the book was about some of the cherished foods around the world that we're losing. You know, it was about how the coffee plantations are being overfarmed. It was a great book. It was a great book. With my background in culinary, it was wonderful.
What is it behind you?
So behind me, because we're over here in Joshua Tree, I thought this would be a great place to get that shot. That is a Joshua Tree.
By the way,
Yeah.
Wait 1 second. By the way, me and Wes, we've been
Roommates.
Yeah, the best roommates. So we smashed this camp.
We did. It was great meeting you.
Yeah, great meeting you.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
I'll definitely see you again.
So hey Brandon, what is your favorite book?
So I don't really have a favorite book. Honestly, I haven't read in a really long time, but I can definitely speak to the power of reading, because leading up all the way until I went to college, I probably read close to 300 books in 3 years. And it was an incredible experience that definitely shaped who I am today.
You might ask question, why should I read books at all? The one thing for me why I've been reading books, it just widens your horizon, you traveling, you learning new stuff at the same time, and it's always nicer to go somewhere and read about that place beforehand. It will just make your experience more emotional, it will just give you more flavor and more colors to that trip. Finally, I feel complete. I've met some great creators. Go and check their pages. Actually, everything what we've learned during this weekend you can find all on Film Creator School of Jeven Dovey. I will also add it to the description